Ah, got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Jai Baba, everyone. Today, we are most fortunate to have with us a guest speaker who has traveled a unique inner journey, which began with a dream and combined with some unforeseen circumstances and experiences along the way, led her to the feet of beloved Baba. Throughout this incredible journey, she trusted her intuition to guide her in spite of the skepticism and doubt. I was truly blown away after reading her book, The Voice of Intuition, a few years ago. And today, Baba has fulfilled yet another unspoken wish of mine to finally meet her and have this wonderful opportunity to hear her story personally. As we all know, intuition plays a very important role in beloved Baba's advent, where he has said, I am never silent, I speak eternally. The voice that is heard deep within the soul is my voice, the voice of inspiration, of intuition, of guidance. Through those who are receptive to this voice, I speak. He further stated that previously, the consciousness of humanity was raised from sensation to reason. And in this present advent, he will raise it from reason to intuition. That will be his gift to humanity. And now, with deep gratitude and much love in Baba, I would like all of you to meet Emily Chantiri. Welcome, Emily.
And I just ask many folks to mute themselves if they won't be speaking. We'll maybe ask questions later, but we'll have some interruption if you don't mute yourself. Thank you.
Great. Well, it's actually an honor for me to be even asked to, when Goher contacted me, I was actually really surprised. So for me to tell my story, so I'm just grateful that anybody would want to listen to it, but I really am. And thank you for allowing me to be part of your group and to hear my story. So I guess it's now 13 years since I had this dream of Baba, and sometimes I actually have to pinch myself to say, did this really, really happen? And at the time, I was writing a book about intuition, but it ended up being a lot more about my journey to Baba than just intuition. And at the time, people had said to me, you must write this book, because I had a lot of friends who I seemed to be very receptive, getting dreams, premonitions. A lot of this was happening about maybe 5 or 6 years before. And I had friends that said, you must write this book and tell people. I only put some of it in there. But, and I'm so glad now today I have, because not that I want to tap in or go into that area of my life that I was many years ago. But honestly, when I pick up and I think what happened back then, it is such a bizarre set of circumstances that brought me to Baba. And the initial one was this very powerful dream. And I don't know where you'd like me to start. I can only tell you what I know and what I've learned. This is my story, and I don't profess to be an expert on Baba or expert. I don't know. I'm only telling you what really did happen to me about getting signs. It just all happened, and it happened in a sequence of events where everything just clicked in. It was like I was on this journey and everything connected. There were connections. And so I mean, I can start, or does anyone want to ask anything before I start with the dream? It's a bit of a long story, but please feel free to ask questions or stop, or I'm happy to share, or if somebody has anything to say, because I'm conscious of just everybody sitting there and listening to me talk. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, what do you think?
Yeah, Emily, why don't you start with telling us about, well, before you even had the dream, you had gone to Bali with your friend Karen. And the bizarre occurrence that happened in Bali that threw you for a loop. And then,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and then of course you're meeting Vera, which I thought was very significant, and she helps you to process that whole experience that you had in Bali. And then followed by, then you come to, because this was in 2009, I believe, when you went to
Yes,
Bali,
yes,
right?
yes. Yes.
I have your book by heart. I've read it about 12 times by now.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, my heart.
It has, oh my goodness, you have no idea. I have,
I have no idea.
it was an
don't.
instant connection, trust me.
Oh, thank you.
This moment is a gift for me, truly, to finally
Oh,
meet you. But
I am
anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, I can only tell you that this really, really did happen. And I cannot explain it. It made me really believe in Baba because of the strangest things that happened to me.
Yeah.
Let me go back to 2009. I had just, unfortunately, my marriage had broken up, and I was working as a journalist for a business magazine, probably the top business magazine in Australia. And we used to do, so I want to tell you where I am at in my head. I'm not on any crazy, I'm not on I don't know, weird sort of out in the middle of nowhere. I am working in a city. I'm trying to raise 2 kids. And but I had always been very intuitive in all my life. And around that time, I really needed to take a break. And a friend of mine, I just had this strong, honestly, again, this is intuition. I had never wanted to go to Bali. Never, it was never on my radar. And then something said to me, you have to go to Bali. You must go to Bali. And I was talking to a friend of mine who'd also gone through a recent breakup. And we thought we'd go to the 2 of us. And this is before Meher Baba. So I want to just make it clear, I've never heard of Meher Baba at this stage. And my friend had been reading she had some spiritual cards. That they became very fashionable back then. People had oracle cards, and I didn't even know what they were. I was, as I said, wasn't into that. I was raised Catholic, not into anything like that. And so I thought, oh, I don't know. I came across a set with the saints, and I thought I might get some because they had all the, I was Catholic, and there was a set with all the cards that were of the saints. And I thought, well, maybe that would be a nice thing. I can take a card. And I felt comfortable in reading those. And when we went away, we were in this amazing location that was literally, it was just in a beautiful setting up in Ubud in the mountains. And we'd had there were 5 days there. We were in this amazing like rainforest. And I can remember we went for a walk, and prior to that time, I'd had the oracle cards on a table outside our cabin. And I just had them sitting on the outside on a, so we could read when I came back. Anyway, I'm cutting short. So we go for a walk, and on my way back, she is behind me. I felt something go right through me. And my friend, I stood shaking. It was like an electricity going right through me. And my friend who was behind me said at the time, "Are you all right? What's going on?" I said, "Something is going through me. I can feel it. Something is literally going through my body." And I still get chills now because I haven't even thought about that, Goha, since that, like I've moved on from that. But when I think about it, I know the story is weird, but this really did happen. And I felt like something, I had intuition, but I went to another psychic level. Something happened to me there. And again, this is, why did I want to go there? Why am I going to this? Why was I drawn to go to Bali? I have never wanted to go. Anyway, we're there, and I am so shaken. And my friend thought you couldn't even say I tried to, electric wires or anything. We're in a rainforest because it looked like I'd had an electric shock that was going through me. And there was nothing like that there. It wasn't raining, nothing. So we go back and I pull out the oracle cards because I said, I need to be near God. I need something because something happened to me. And so I take out the cards because I want to just, have my faith, what happened to me. So I put them on the desk when we come back. We go and make a cup of tea. I'd taken the cards out of the envelope, and the card that I came out, and I swear I can only tell you, there was a deck of cards, and on the one card was standing upright. And it was the card of signs by the saint. And I just freaked out. I absolutely freaked out. I don't know who did it, whatever. But again, it was like, follow the signs. There's somebody trying to tell me something. And then honestly, that even my friend, she screamed when we came out because we were alone. We were in these cabins. There was no one around us. We were in these tiny little cabins. And I thought, something strange is happening to my life and I don't know how to make sense of it. And this is what led me to, so we come back. I got to tell you, that night when we were in the cabin, I slept with the lights on for the rest of the time we were there. I was freaked out. So anyway, I go back and I thought, what was all that about? And I felt like something was happening to me. Things kept happening. I'd say, I know this sounds weird, but I'd be out on the street and it'd say, you're going to find money. I'd look around, there'd be $5 on the ground. It was this strange time. It was like, I know it's, honestly, this happened, and as I think about it, it still freaks me out. But I started to then get really concerned and thinking, what is happening to me? Why has all this intuitive, and I'd read people as well, and I'd see some awful, like I'd get some bad feelings from people. So I thought there was a bookstore in Sydney. I go back to work. I'm back at my office, working on doing business interviews, writing on fine, all of this. My world is pretty normal as a mum of two boys. I go back to my normal. And I'm drawn again, this intuitive thing. I'd heard about this bookstore in Sydney that has what you would call like spiritual books. And I thought, oh, maybe I should go there and maybe somebody can tell me what's going on. So I actually go to this bookstore. One time I have enough time in my lunch hour to walk up to this bookstore, which is about a half an hour walk from my work. And I thought, I'm just going to go there. And I walk and I get to the bookstore and I'm trying to see if anyone's had any kind of physical experiences or something going through them. And I was looking up what that would mean because I felt like something lifted my conscious. I don't know. I can't explain it. Only I became even more. I hate to use the word psychic, but it was definitely a lot of psychic activity happening. And then so what happened after that? I went into the bookstore and I started just looking in these shelves, trying to find something. And this woman came up to me and she had two small boys, little boys. And I'm just standing there, and she came up to me and she said, do you believe in angels? And I was like, what angels? I said, not really, but I know some people do. I said, I've never seen one. I don't know. They might exist, maybe. Anyway, after that time, she said, she goes, my two little boys have seen angels at my daughter, their sister, she's very sick. And we've seen angels around her, bed. And I said, I'm really, really sorry. I hope, your daughter gets the treatment. And I said, I'm just looking for something. And I said, I didn't even tell her. She said, I don't know how, but she said to me, you need to go and see this woman called, her name is Sylvia. I've used a different name in the book. I had to change the names to protect people, but it's all right now because Sylvia's very old now. This happened a long time ago. And I said, you need to see this woman who lived. She just said this to me out of the blue. And I said, you need to see someone. And she just looked straight through me. And I said, I don't believe in psychics. I don't go to them. I don't believe in them. And she said, she came back and she gave me the phone number of, she gave me this phone number, and I don't know, I grabbed it, I guess, because I was thinking, well, something brought me here, and now this woman's asking me about angels. And then she literally turned around after she gave me that, and I looked on the bookstores, and then I went back because I wanted to thank her, because it took me, I'm still digesting all of this activity, and the woman and the two boys were gone. They had gone within 10 seconds. I couldn't find them. And I don't know what all that was, but it happened because I have the number. It took me about 2 weeks to have the courage to call this psychic lady. It might have been 2 or 3. It was a while because I've never contacted a psychic. But I did phone this woman one day, and then she said to me, oh, you're all right. The first words out of her, when I picked up the phone, she goes, hello, and you're a writer. Straight away, she says this to me, and I'm blown away. Like, I dropped the phone, and I'm thinking, oh my God. Anyway, I told her about the whole incident of being in Bali and why is this happening? And she said, what happened? Look, I don't know. She said, your chakra's open. I've never heard of the word chakra. I didn't understand any of it. And she said, I've just become more intuitive. So this was all leading up, and I kind of let it go, but my dreams were becoming more and more vivid. And then so it was 2 years later that I would have the dream that led me to, I would say, the journey onto Mera Barbara and finding him. Does anyone have any questions at this point? I feel like I don't want to talk the whole time. Go ahead. Anybody?
Anyone have questions for Emily so far?
Are you all following me? I know it's a bit strange. It's a strange.
If you have the voice, we're loving it. And I know I'm speaking for other people, but I'm looking at their faces. And everyone is totally engrossed, and you're wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm not sure I can see all your. Thank you. I know this is such a bizarre story, and I'm a little uncomfortable even saying it, because I know Barbara says don't, go into this thing, but this area, and I've tried to just tone it down, because look, there is something there. I wouldn't have come to Barbara without it. Anyway, I will fast forward.
And Emily, we just want to say that we met you. We were going to come to the Australian Women's Sahabas that you and Sage were playing.
Yes.
We're from LA.
Hi, yes, Diana. Hi, I know. What a shame. But I accepted it. I know.
You're an incredibly grounded person.
But we
are
feel
all
like we
ears.
know you, so that's
I
kind of.
know. I see you. Yes, hello. It's so lovely to see you, and thank you for joining. I can, because we never got to meet. Yeah. I did want to say, so now I will tell you the dream I had, but again, please feel free. As I said, I don't want to always be the one talking. But 2000, I can tell you, it was March 18, 2011. I woke up like jolt out of bed, and I'd had this most powerful dream. And even now, I still get chills because it changed my life. And for those of you that don't know it, I find myself sitting in a church, and this priest is rushing to me, and he says to me, you have to take this message. This message has to go to the people. You must take this message to the people. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and it says, stay myrtle, stay happy and contented. And after 13 days, see what comes. And I knew that when I got up, and then I wanted to say, I wanted to tell the priest, what do you mean? What's myrtle? I don't know what that means, but I'd woken up. And at the time I had met my partner, Kevin, just, in a very short time. And we had been going out and just getting to know each other. And when I realized, I knew the dream was important because of the way I felt and because of having all these, what you would call psychic, strange things. And it was a spiritual dream. And I feel like spiritual dreams are to be taken seriously, you know, especially if they have a message. And so I then, as I was getting to know Kevin, and then I realized that he was open to spirituality, I then told him about my dream. I said, well, maybe, you know, I thought, oh, tell him about this strange dream. And he would then say to me, have you ever heard of Myrtle Beach? And I thought, no, I've never. I thought he was referring to a place in Australia, Myrtle Beach, and he's American. And I said, no, I don't know Myrtle Beach. What do you mean? He goes, go look it up. So I go to look it up and all I can see is it's a golfing place. I see nothing. I don't understand what he's talking about. And then we met later and I said, I had a look at Myrtle Beach. I don't see anything. I can't see anything there. Nothing's coming. And he said, that's when he said to me, have you ever heard of Mayor Hereunder? That was the first time. And I said, no, I didn't even. He said, then go and look him up. So I go and look Mayor Hereunder and I see it and I go, oh, wow. And I knew when I saw that was the myrtle. That was the myrtle. I just knew it was like right here. I knew because but then I was really honing in on my intuition and, you know, writing this, working on the book and working on other things. And I thought, I have to go there. I have to go there. It was this very strange. And then Kevin happens to say to me, I'm going to be there next month. Like I meet this guy and he's going to this Myrtle Beach of all places. I just meet him and I have no idea he's a Mayor Hereunder, nothing, because he didn't meet like that under anything spiritual. And then he said, I'm going there, but you will have to go on your own, because he was going with kids. And I said, but if you want to go, this is your journey, you go on your own. And I thought, okay, great. Now, how am I going to go to all the way over to the US on the other side, take a week off, someone to look after my older son was old enough, but, you know, leave the kids and get time off work, because they were not going to give me any time off work. So I don't know what I said. I don't know how, but I was allowed a week off work. And but I didn't have the funds because it was going to be a stretch to pay for my airfare. And I thought, you know what? I'm a journalist. I can do a story on golfing. I've never written about golf. I don't know anything about it. But I decided that I would contact the editor of Golfing Australia magazine. And I happened to email him on a Sunday morning and tell him I'm a journalist. I know this is not my area, but Myrtle Beach seems to be a really big place for golfers. Would you be interested, if I'm going there, would you be interested in me doing a story while I'm there? And so I emailed this within half an hour on a Sunday. He happened to be in the office. He emailed me back and said, yes, give me 2,000 words and I'll pay you $1,000, whatever it was at the time. And I was like, I can't believe this is happening, because I don't write in this area. And I go, I've got my week off. I've got money towards my airfare. And then I contact the PR department in Myrtle Beach, and they take me around to all different places. And so I can legitimately, I do write the story and I can claim, you know, some of it. So I feel like my airfare's been pretty much all covered. And I'm thinking, wow, this just does not happen. So off I go. My sons are fine. I get this week off. I travel all the way over to Myrtle Beach to the Mayor Hereunder Centre, and I'm greeted there. Everybody was really, really kind. They knew I was coming. I said, I'm a journalist. I just learned about Mayor Hereunder last month. I'm feeling very strongly to come here. They're all wonderful. Everyone was there. And this is where this story just gets more freakier and freakier. And this is when I really, really know that Mayor Hereunder, without a doubt, is who he says he left no doubt in my mind after. And I'm a big, you know, as I said, I'm a Catholic. I'm thinking of any other sort of spiritual, or I wasn't really thinking of anything to follow other than my Christian, you know, being a Christian. And so when I land in Myrtle Beach at the Mary Barber Centre, there is a wonderful, they said to me that there are a few Aussies here. And I thought, great. And one of them was Bill LePage, and they said he's speaking. I only have 3 days at Myrtle Beach because of work. So you've got to imagine I've had 3 days doing the PR and 3 days at Myrtle Beach, and then I have to fly back home. So they said, he's talking now, go down. And I'm like, you know, it's been a whirlwind. I don't even know how I managed it all, but I go down there, and Bill LePage is there, and he talks about this spreading the word of Barber and spreading, and some of his words were quite similar about, you know, he said he really felt like he had to take Barber's word to the people, and he was saying things like this, and I thought, that's strange. It was like that, what that priest said. It was, you know, the dream. He said, you know, this thing about taking this message to the people. And when I was there, they said, I heard Bill talk, and then they introduced me and said, he's a fellow Australian. And I told them my story. I had this dream. This is why I'm here. It said, stay Myrtle. And I believe this is where I am, was meant to be. As it would happen, and this is where it gets really strange. There was another gentleman in the room called Jeff, who works at Avatar's Abode. And he happened to stand up and say, Greg, sorry, his name's Greg. And he said, Emily, he said, did you know that there is a place up at Woombye in Australia called Avatar's Abode? I said, no, I have no idea. This is all very new to me. All very new. I didn't even know. I've flown all the way across the world. I could have just gone up to up to Brisbane had I have known. And then he said, and it only just came to light that very recently for him when he went. So Avatar's Abode is in a place called Woombye, and he said he went into the town centre, and he went in, and there was a cafe there, and this is where it gets really, really bizarre. And it's really, even now I have to stop, and because I remember the shock I kept getting. He says to me that, do you know what Woombye means? It's an Aboriginal word. And I said, no, I have no idea. It means myrtle in Aboriginal. And I was like blown away. Like, here is Myrtle, Myrtle up there, and Myrtle across the world where Barber has his centres. And I'm like, this is like mind-blowing. Is this real? And I'm like pinching, how could this very strange turn of events? By then I was convinced this is where I'm meant to be, and I really take the whole thing very seriously about Mayor Barber and his message. And I am totally convinced this is where I need to be. And being grateful to have been there at that time, to know, because Greg, who told me about the Woombye meaning, had only just learnt this recently, because a cafe had opened up in Woombye called Black Myrtle. And he then realised when he spoke to the owners, that's when he understood that's what Woombye means. And I looked it up. Have a look. You can see it means myrtle, Aboriginal word. And because I always, being a journalist, I have to check everything. Like, could this be real? And so as I come back to Sydney, and I'm like, in this, feel like Barber has me spinning, and he hasn't finished yet. He hasn't finished with me. I can feel it. Then what happens is I come back to work, and I'm back there, and one of my friends is the editor of, I guess you would call the biggest Sunday paper in Australia. It's called the Sunday Herald. We work in the same building. I work on the business, she's on the paper. Anyway, and she'd heard about all my dreams. I've known her for 5 years and all this. And she knew I was just going to the US on this strange dream. And she said to me, about 2 weeks, a week or so later, I saw her, we were having, and I told her, I cannot tell you what just happened, this very bizarre thing about my dream. And this man called Mera Baba, who, lived in India. And, I'm talking like this, as you've got to remember, I'm still very new to all of this. And I said, I totally believe this is where I was meant to be. And this is where, again, I'm blown away, because I'm still thinking, did I do what the dream asked me to do? And that was, I had to take the message to the people. That was still in my mind. I didn't complete. I went there, I figured out where Myrtle, but then what happened was, she said to me, and this is at that time very, paper doesn't do things like this, but she said, we are running a spirituality lift out this weekend. Can you write 300 words on your journey? And it was at that, and I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe it. I get to write this story that goes out to whoever read it, I don't know, 1 million or so around Australia. I don't know, it didn't matter. But that's when I felt like I did what I was asked to do. I got my message to the people in my way, in what I understood, because I felt the dream, he wanted me to take this message and I didn't know how. And that's the short version. I mean, I can give you lots of strange things that happen.
Oh,
but
there's so much more.
Yeah, there is, but I don't.
Talk
it was
about
such a wild ride. Yes.
Talk about the last part of that message where it says, see what happens in 13 days, and then tell them what happened.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
I found that to be so interesting.
Oh, thank you, guys. Yeah, I know. Like, Baba he wanted me to know that that he is real. He is real. So after 13 days happened anyway, it was just by complete accident that I had discovered. So I'm back at work, and I then hear about on the 10th of July, so 13 days after is the 10th of July that I come after I've been there. And I remember as I was leaving the centre, one of the drivers there at the Myrtle Beach, I said, I guess it's going to be quiet now. People are leaving. You're going to be really busy. He goes, the next few weeks are going to be really, really busy because it's silent. Like, there's a silence day. It's a very, very special day. And I said, what is that? And he said, everybody keeps quiet for the whole day on the 10th. And I go, oh, okay. I didn't think anything about it. I just thought, okay, well, I'm not here anyway. So I go back home and I'm back to work, and Kevin says to me, I'm going to take that day, I believe it was take the day off or something at the time, and he said to remain silent. And I thought, how can anybody remain silent all day? How are you supposed to work? And anyway, as it would happen, I'm back at work. I end up, maybe that week or so afterwards, I end up getting really sick, so sick that I had to take time off work, and I had bronchitis and I completely lost my voice. So on the 10th, I could not talk. I still get chills. And I just think, I cannot. So I'm home, I've lost my voice. Go figure, I couldn't. By that time, I was convinced that Mera Baba is who, it's just too uncanny. I'm sure many of you have, what Baba does to grab us in. He really gave me lots of signs and lots of strange, bizarre situations that I could not think that he is who he says he is. And so I ended up keeping silent state the very first year that I came to him, only because I had bronchitis. Yeah. And Yeah, so but I sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I see a hand up, so I thought I would ask Rich to ask his question, but finish your thought, Emily. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I would love to hear other people talk or share their stories, but I wanted to just say that that intuition that Baba has said that we must go to and listen to that inner voice has really, I don't know, if it wasn't for that, if I didn't tune into it, I wouldn't have had my book deal, but I wouldn't have had, again, very bizarre situations of being just so in tune and hearing a very strong voice tell me, you must do this, you must do that. And as that Bali trip, it was, I don't even want to go to Bali, but that's your intuition. Something is so strong saying you have to go there. And in that itself turns into a complete strange event of why, even though that's what I've learned about intuition. It isn't about doing something that is, it actually will guide you to the right. I mean, there are no right and wrong, but I've always felt that it is not about what you want. It is about going in and saying, even though it doesn't look right, that's what a lot of the times, it doesn't look right. Why am I doing this? But it is so strong that you cannot not follow that. Yeah. So, yeah, questions? Anybody want to share?
Rich, go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah, I have two thoughts. One is, who is Meher Baba? And never mind. For you, that it's not funny, but for an American, that's funny. Who is Meher Baba? Anyway, so the other one is, it occurred to me while you were talking there that last sentence that Baba's brother Jal, I think Baba put a piece of hot coal in his hand because he said he didn't believe Baba was God. And it burned his hand severely. He had to go to the hospital, I think. And Baba visited him in the hospital. And every time Baba visited, all the pain would go away, completely go away. And so when he left, of course, Jal had pain in his hand because he burned his hand. But anyway, it's good to meet you, Emily. Yeah. So you got to teach me that chakra trick. I need to know. Thank you.
Anyone else have a question right now? Or should okay, we have Elizabeth.
Well, this was a question I wanted to ask earlier. I didn't quite follow the cards in Bali. What that was. I understood you had like a box of cards, and it was to give kind of like tarot cards, but not tarot cards. They were Christian cards or something like that.
Exactly.
But what I don't understand is what card. I don't understand if the card stood up by itself, or if you'd laid the cards out, or if the card was a certain one that had a certain message on it. I just didn't follow it.
Yeah, it was, if you can imagine a deck of cards, and one was upright. It was just leaning upright. Like, can you see my hand? It was like that. And the image, and it had the main message was signs. And I'd have to remember, Emily, as I said.
I have it here.
Oh, great. Honestly, I just put that behind me. That's in the past. But
right.
Because I don't know if I should go to that in my head anymore, because it was such a bizarre. Please go ahead. Yeah.
This is a pack of what they call oracle cards, she says, and the message, it said the title of the message was Vision, and the message is about, and the message read as follows: the message is about honoring your vision. It asks you to truly trust the mental images that you've been receiving as their answers to your prayers. Your prophetic visions will bring blessings to you and your loved ones. You know that they are heaven-inspired because of their loving nature. Only follow the message that asks you to act on behalf of God's love. That was
I know. Thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah, I should have. I wasn't sorry, you put me on. I should have had it out, but I thought I didn't know you wanted me to go back that far, because I
No
yeah.
worries. I have the book right here.
Yeah, that message, I mean, that sums up what happened to me. If I hearing you read that again, was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, I did. I followed and yeah, yeah, it truly happened. This card was upright, standing on its own. I can't remember how it was standing. I was so scared that I saw this card. I was shaking.
Wow.
Because I was shaking because I could feel this. I don't know if anyone's ever had that, but this lady, this psychic lady, said it was a spiritual something, how it went through me. And I said, that's what it felt like. If you've ever had, you see in the movies when, I don't know if you've ever seen these movies when a ghost goes through or something and people are doing this. I was doing that. That really does happen. That does happen. When
I've
something
felt it.
is,
Don't worry. Other people have felt things like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, like some people don't. I can again only tell you my experience. And yeah.
Yeah. It's,
When that happened to you, when you had that feeling of something, do you remember anything else about it, or does it ever come back to you as, I mean, did you ever have feelings about it other than being afraid of it, which it obviously scared you, but after you got over that, what did you
Yeah.
think or feel about it?
I felt that my psychic ability just went up a couple of notches.
Interesting.
My psychic ability just went so
I think
high. Yeah.
That's so strange. And this just happened in Bali. You just happened to be in some woods in Bali. And it's so interesting. Why in the world did it happen there? What kind of environment were you in that
apparently it is a very sacred space. I didn't know. It's my first time there. I didn't know. I was just pulled to go there. This is what I don't understand. Sometimes you just have to do these things, and maybe later you learn about them and understand. This is again me being very intuitive person, that it just felt I had to go to this place.
Yeah.
Well, Bali is a place I've always wanted to go to, and I did a study of it, the Shalangarang myth. And it's the confluence of at least 4 major religions. So there are shrines there from Hinduism, from Islam, from Buddhism, and then there are ancient, more cultural traditions that were before all these religions came there. And their allegories are very similar to the kinds you find in Shakespeare. Layer upon layer upon layer. It's just, it's like so deep. It is an amazing. I haven't been there. I've always wanted to go. I think you're really lucky to have been. So I'm not really surprised. No wonder it was a sacred place.
Yes, yeah. But for me, Bali was all about, and you know, it's beaches and people drinking and nightclubs, and that was the image I had. So this is why it's just not my thing. But I had to go to the mountains, which are the spiritual. That's where I needed. That's why I went straight there. That was the calling to the mountains. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Diane, you're up.
Emily, I'd love to hear more about your relationship with your own intuition and how you silence the mind if it tries to talk you out of what your gut is saying.
Yeah.
And then the second part, sorry. I'd love to know how you then got more and more connected with Baba after these initial dances.
Yeah. I guess I had been meditating. I always, and as a writer, I think a lot of, you do have a lot of time where you are in your own thoughts. So, and to think, and a creativity as well. I think allows you that space to be in your thoughts. And also meditation. I was doing quite a bit of meditation at that time. I would meditate most days, and then I would hear and get a lot. So that perhaps was helpful. I was learning to center my thoughts, especially when I was working in a very highly stressful, environment on a business magazine. And sometimes I would just step out at lunch, sit alone, go for a walk, and just meditate to calm myself, especially when I was on deadlines. And so I was learning to try to get peace in my head. That was probably what helped me, and that was where more clarity, intuition was coming through, just when I could find the peace, because I needed it. I absolutely needed it. And in terms of the second part of your question, once I knew, and then my partner Kevin, who we're together, he was, obviously he was in the Mera Barber community, and I just started going to meetings that we have here, and it was instant. I think we all have our own journey here, but not having been able to meet any of the Mundley, I don't have any of that experience. I only have what I know from talking to other barber lovers here in Sydney or in around the world. But I just felt he is who he says he is, because the strangest things that happened they're inexplicable. So I believe who he is, to made everything line up, and for me to end up from that dream to writing this story in the paper, within 2 or 3 months, I wasn't planning to do anything like that. And then he totally convinced me of who he was. It wasn't difficult to then believe and get on that path of, reading his words. And yes, yeah. Does that answer the question? I'm not sure.
Well, I want to go back to the first part about, does your mind ever fight with your intuition and try and squash it? And how does intuition work?
Oh, look, many times, and then you regret it. Yeah, of course. And then I go, should I listen to this? Why didn't I listen to that? Yeah, of course. There's something I've learned through this whole thing, is that when you are really in a stressful situation, it is very hard to listen to your intuition. And that is something I have, well, for me. So I always try to, when I know that, making major decisions, if you're going through such a stressful time, it's really difficult. And so I really try to take that time out. And when there is downtime, to say, well, I'm having this downtime, so I focus on, like today and this whole week, I've really tried to just, where am I meant to be? What is next for me? And going back into this intuitive space. And whenever I do, it's just an amazing place to be in. And I get off that, believe me, when I'm working and doing, but when I'm back into it, it is just the flow of messages, the flow of things is just incredible. But I do get, like everyone, I kick myself when I don't listen to it.
Betty?
Hi, Emily. I'm really enjoying this. Thank you for sharing. It's a big share.
Oh, thank you.
Have you been to Maribad, and have you been to Samadhi? And can you talk a little bit about how that felt?
Again, actually, can I share a dream about
Sure.
the Samadhi? If you don't, because that dream was far more powerful for me than actually when I got to the Samadhi. So I have been to. So I had okay. So maybe about a year or 18 months before I finally got to India and to the Samadhi, I had again a very, very powerful dream. It was, I remember going and being at the Samadhi, and they opened the Samadhi up, and this light of like 1,000,000 diamonds, it was so bright, came to me as they opened it and hit me and I fell to the ground. I fell. It was this dazzling, like laser beams coming at me in my dream. Laser, laser, laser. And I fell and I was like, oh my God, so emotional. And when I got up, I was so scared. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. Anyway, and it was so dazzling. The light blinded me that was coming from it. The laser of, I could only describe like a shiny diamonds, thousands of them. And so when I eventually get to the samadhi, I am so scared because I'm afraid I might get there and just fall and make a real scene like what happened in my dream, because I just didn't want people, you know, what if I get there and start falling, you know, crying, carrying on, you know, like in my dream. But when I got there, no, it wasn't anything like that. It was very plain, very, very civilized. I went there, knelt, and so, but I think I got what I needed in that dream. It was just, wow. It was, I still get blown over. Yeah.
Emily, can I ask you when this was? When did this happen?
Which one? The dream?
Yes, your dream. Yes. When did you, because that was my last question to you was going to be, because in your book you write, I will go when he calls me. When you were, remember?
Yes.
You were walking one day and you asked Baba, why have I not been, why don't I have the desire to go to India? Because everybody was asking, have you been to India? And you were walking and you said you clearly heard his voice say, you will go when I tell you to go.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
So that's why I want to ask, when did you have this dream and when did you go to the samadhi?
Oh gosh, because I've now been 4 times to India, and I think, I think I know I had the dream about 18 months before, but it would take me about maybe 4 years, 5 years after I went to Myrtle Beach, before I could even get to India. Maybe 4 years. 4 years. And so I had the dream. Yeah, it would have been 4 years because the dream wasn't that long after. Baba was still pulling me. He was still giving me this dream. And I thought, oh, wow. And I just remember it being so white. And I remember saying to Kevin, is the samadhi white? All I could see was this white. Baba's tomb was white. I could, you know, not having seen it. And that's all but you know, that's all I could see. He took me there in that time. And, but yeah, I would eventually get there. Maybe 4 years it would take. Yeah. And I have been almost every 2 years, and I'll be going again in February next year.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So we have Gail now who wants to ask you a question. Gail.
Hi, Gail.
Hi there. I want to say thank you to Go Hair for inviting Emily, and thank you for Emily for being forthcoming about things that are just odd. I mean, it's hard to talk about things that are very personal, and being with Baba is unusual, you know, and it's but it's very true. So I want to know the name of your books.
Yeah, it's called The Voice of Intuition. Right.
Thank you.
And the subtitle is Right from the Heart, as in WRITE. And that is another story, which Emily has yet to tell us about.
Oh gosh, which one's that?
Your dream of your mother, when you woke up one day and you heard this voice that said,
right. Oh yeah. Yes, yeah.
And then the psychic confirming that. So
yes, yeah. Oh, you have read it. Gosh, I need to go and read my book.
I have memorized your book, I'm telling you.
Oh my God, go. Can I meet you? I want to go and give you a big hug. I wish I could hug you. Thank you.
Well, someday. He will bring us together, I'm sure. I am sure. You have no idea. I've thought about you so often over the years, and today my unspoken wish has finally come true. So
you've made Look, I feel like I need to go and read my book, honestly, when I tell you, I've just put that because I feel like don't focus on all that strange stuff, just get on with life and try to just follow Baba, because I want to just make sure that I'm grounded, because this odd, bizarre things can, take you off a bit, and whereas it's, I know I just say this was how Baba wanted to get my attention. That's what I've come to learn after that 15, 20, where I've always actually now, I mean, I know I've always had this intuition, psychic ability, but it was quashed. It was quashed. And I think I just started to really explore it. I mean, after I guess my marriage broke down and I could just be myself. And as I was more myself, it like everything started flooding through. I was who I was again, and I could just be me. Sorry, I need to answer someone's question. You asked me about that book. Yes. So this is years before I'd even heard of Mera Baba. I knew that I needed to write another book, and I'm a finance business journalist. So I'd already done business, money books aimed at women, and because stories that I wanted to help people just through what I've learned. But this was I knew I was writing a different book, and I had remembered my mother coming in a dream. It was like this really strong, and she said, you must write from the heart. And I wrote it down. I don't know. I thought it, right. And it was W-R-I-T. And, of course, it can be right. And that's why I had to put that line in, because I felt it was that helped me when I was writing it to always remember, write it from here, be honest, just tell the story whether people believe you or not. Yeah. And that's where that came from, or again, another dream. I have these intuitive dreams. So, yeah.
Rich, again.
Emily, since you're there, you probably know them already, but there's a woman named Therese Weinheim. And
of course I know Therese,
and Paul. And anyway, but Paul's story, I heard it. He was living in Boulder for several years, and I heard his story through the Denver group, and it blew my mind. Just blew my mind completely. And the way he tells it, if you can, you have to prod him, I'll bet, but just prod him, get Therese to twist his arm or something. But
I've heard his story, actually. I've heard it a few times. He tells us.
Have you? Yes. Oh, yeah. It's mind blower. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh, no, it's all right. I just, because they're here in Australia, and, I've heard his story about the bicycle.
Yes. Oh, my God. I tell you. Yes, I was riding bicycles all at the time in Denver. I was like a commuter and when he came to the finale with that deal, it was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
And then he went to Goa and came back in 6 months with Go Hair, Yeah. But thanks.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you. Yeah, no, I know people have amazing stories. I love hearing it myself. I just love people's stories. Yeah. Some, I don't know, some people are fortunate that belong to a Baba family and it's just already there, ingrained in them. But some of us Baba has to take us out of our own reality and, kind of pull us in through some ways other than, I just think magic. I don't know, something, it's magical rather than magic. Yeah. Yeah.
When a soul is ready, he's there to pull you in.
Exactly.
And you were clearly ready, Emily. Clearly.
Yes. Okay.
Jaya, you have a question for Emily?
Yes, just I'm remembering that my father used to say that it is in 1960s. He was drawn to Baba, how he was drawn to Baba, that just he also had some intuition about that. And then he went to that, when we were there in that Andhra, that where Baba went and sat under the tree. So he went, he was drawn there, like just some force, he was telling some force. So just he wanted to he was just wanted to go for a walk. He was something happened. Just he was drawn there. Actually, he has to cross some like a lake or something like that. He has to cross that one, and he went there, and he went and he sat in that garden under where the Baba went and sat during his Andhra tour. Since that time, just then the center developed, and then of course my childhood I used to go regularly with my parents and all.
Yeah.
That he was telling about is that intuition, how Baba works. That is Baba's voice.
That's right. Yeah, that's so
Baba's
true.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I
That's
remember remembering my father when you were talking about this. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Baba. It works. Yeah. Intuition, one has to follow that intuition.
Yeah.
Intuition is Baba's voice. I feel that way, that experience.
Yeah. I wonder if people would like to share, if you don't mind me asking this, but I would love to, I mean, since we're talking about intuition, has anyone got a story where they want to share about their intuition or something that they glad they did listen or didn't? Does anyone have a story that I mean, you've heard mine.
Meher Sagar.
It can be any topic, but yeah, I think I just strongly, and I'd say this to myself, how much we need to really go back in ourselves and really go deeper with all this madness that is going around the world. So I don't know if anyone has a story to share that they.
Meher Sagar.
I don't have a story, but I have to ask you, like, you said you cover the game of golf.
Yeah.
So do you cover the game of cricket? I have just a question because I am an avid follower of cricket, and Baba himself played cricket a lot. And the Indian national cricket team, Nari Contractor and Paul Umrigar were Baba followers. Actually, Baba gave them embrace in Guru Prasad in 1963. The reason why I'm bringing this up is for some reason, Australia is a very strong cricket team. It won the World Cup 5 times. And there is a cricket World Cup currently going on. And I was watching the Australian cricket match just last week with Afghanistan. And Australia was down for 93 runs. They lost 7 wickets and they had to make like 290 runs. And I was watching the cricket match and I said, there is no way Australia is going to win this. And everyone else was saying, oh, there is no way Australia is going to win this. And I don't know how Baba made this magic. There is this Australian batsman called Glenn Maxwell. Yes. He comes onto the field. He couldn't bat, actually. He couldn't run. And he hits 201 runs and Australia wins the match. And
I know.
It's like Baba's magic. I was like, what did you do, Baba, that you make Australia win a match always? Right? So I just wanted...
I know. He was all over the news. Like, I don't follow cricket, but it was all over the news because it was such a strange, this guy comes out and does 200, you know? I know, I remember, I saw it. It was last week. It's all over
Glenn Maxwell. His wife is actually South Indian. He married an Indian, so...
okay.
So
no, I know. It was all over the news, Meher, so yeah.
Yeah, I think Baba has some connection to do cricket with Australia because they have been the strongest team. They won 5 World Cups. No other nation has won the World Cup 5 times. It's something. Every time I say, why is that, Baba? You were born in India and India never wins. So it's a strange coincidence that I wanted.
Yeah.
Anyone else for a question for Emily? Anyone else?
No intuition stories? Nobody?
Well, I certainly have one, Emily.
Please share it. Go here.
The very reason you're sitting here. So about 3.5 weeks ago, I don't normally do this, as I think I mentioned to you earlier. It's our dear friend Jeff Wolverton who conducts the chats, right? Did you meet Jeff when you were there?
Yes, when I go to Myrtle Beach.
Yes. He sings as well and so forth. So Jeff went to Mehrabad for a good 6 or 7 weeks. He first went to England and then went there. And he asked me to just step in and take over for him in the interim period. And so here I am. And so I had lined up 5 people for the month of October for every Sunday. But then I had these 2 weeks left in November, and I go to my daughter's house and I had given her your book to read. This was about 2 years ago. Now, my daughter's a very busy young mom. She has 2 little kids, and one of them needs more attention than the other. But anyway, she's a busy mom, and so she hadn't had time to read it. But all of a sudden, I thought of it for whatever reason. I asked her. She said, "No, Mom, I haven't read it yet." But she said, "You can probably tell me the story later." And I said, "Well, okay, I need the book." I said, for some reason, I got it back. And I'm sitting here at home reading the book. This is about 3.5 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, a thought comes to me. What if I were to try and contact Emily? I wonder if she would like to come and be a guest speaker. And so then I said, no, that she's a, world-renowned author. She's a journalist. How could I mean, no way. To be honest, I thought of contacting you years ago when I first read your book. I was so enamored by it. But anyway, but then the more I kept pushing it out of my mind, the more it came into my mind until I said, that's it. What's the worst that could happen? So I go to the computer. I did a very silly thing at first. I'm so computer illiterate. So I looked in your book and I see www.emilychantiri.org, and I put that address in. Duh, it's not it's your website. It's not an email address. So that I felt very foolish at first. Then I thought to myself, now wait a minute, she did come to the center. So, and no, the first thought was, I normally get all my Baba literature from Shehryar Press. Can I ask you, had you ever distributed your book with Shehryar Press?
Did I? No.
No, that's right. Because when I called them and I asked them, have you heard of Emily Chantiri and her book, Voice of Intuition? And the lady said, no, she looked in her database, whatever.
No.
We've never had her book. And she didn't know about you. I said, how strange. To this day, Emily, I cannot for the life of me recall how I got a hold of your book.
Wow.
I'm still asking Baba, how did I get this book? How did it come to me? I don't remember anybody giving it to me. I don't remember searching for anything on intuition at the time, or how did I end up with this book? I still don't know. But anyway, then I called the center, and then that's how that unraveled. And I spoke to Karen, who said she couldn't give me your address, but that I would send my email to her, and then she forwarded my email to you. And here we are. So had I not acted on my intuition, we would not be sitting here.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm so I'm to be honest, I don't know what the right word. How can I describe it because it is for me such an odd story, as somebody said on there. I sometimes am a little like, do people really want to hear it? It's so bizarre, and I'm a little I wouldn't say nervous. I just don't know how people are going to take it. But when you contacted me, and I said, I thought about it, and I thought, do it, because this is, I felt like Baba wanted me to do this, because I wouldn't, and I always have to go really deep, look beyond my ego, whatever, and just talk about, this is what truly happened to me. And that's what helped me to, I feel like Baba wanted me to do this. That's the only, and of course, meeting you all, and it's been great. And especially you, Gohara. Yeah.
Thank you. Same here, likewise. You have no idea. Okay, well, so we have Paula. Paula, go ahead.
Oh, you're on unmute.
Paula, you're on mute. Can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to say, first of all, Gohara, you are the sweetest of the sweet.
Oh.
I mean, seriously, I just want to hug you.
Thank you. It's all Baba. Trust me, it's all Baba.
And then Emily, thank you so much for sharing. And I wanted to say that I don't think there's anything bizarre about your story.
No.
I mean, bizarre is not the word at all. It's almost, we're apologizing for these unusual things that came to you, but it's not bizarre at all.
No, thank you. Yeah, I know it's not, but some people just.
It's deep, and it's just wonderful. Yeah, it's just That's all
It
the
is
mystery
wonderful.
of Baba, you know, and how he comes to us. And it's just wonderful. So thank you so much. I hope to
Oh,
meet you.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Diane, again?
It's Terry.
Oh, Terry, sorry.
It's okay. And I wanted to say that thank you for listening to your intuition, because I know that when it's, when I first acknowledged Baba in my life, I woke up one morning and said to Diane, I have to go to India. And it was like out of nowhere. It wasn't on our bucket list, nothing. And she said,
Sure.
yeah, she didn't even want to go, but she said she wasn't going to let me have that kind of experience without her. She wanted to witness it. And then he sucked her in too.
You
So
go.
it's good we listen to our intuition, but
That's
sometimes our brain gets in the way. And that's when you kick yourself in, your butt and say, listen next time.
That's right. That's right. Just be open to it and trust Baba. That's all you need to do. Don't worry about anybody else or anything else. Just that's
Thank
it.
you for sharing so much. And go, you are the sweetest. We
No.
all want to hug you.
No, thank you. Thank you. Elizabeth, we have you again. Mhm.
I just wanted to also encourage you as well. It was a wonderful story, and your experiences are what they are, and it was really enjoyable to listen to it. And I do hope that you'll do a book signing and reading, perhaps at Hereunder Press. I mean, that is a wonderful place to have your book.
Yeah, where is that?
In
Sorry.
Myrtle Beach, of course.
Oh, at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Get the word out, Myrtle.
Right. Hereunder Press deals mostly with Baba literature, Emily, and that's where I get most of my Baba literature, which is why I was so surprised when they said they'd never heard of you.
Yeah, it's probably not what I would call a traditional Baba book.
Right, exactly, yes.
But it doesn't need to be. Like, for example, I got my favorite Hafez Ghazals, The Green Sea of Heaven, at Hereunder Press. There was a book signing of the author, Elizabeth T. Gray. And so Hafez is the poet that Baba loves so much, but there are all kinds of
there's all kinds of related literature that they carry as well. Yeah.
You can get Emily's book on Amazon.
I strongly suggest all of you read this book. It absolutely blew me away.
So how do we get a signed copy?
I have a few. I have some here. I mean, if anybody really, you'd have to, I could sign them, but I don't know. I could send it, I guess, if anybody really wanted one.
Maybe if there's someone coming to Myrtle Beach, they could bring some that are signed that could be sold.
Yeah, I will probably be there in June, but I believe it's a process. I don't think I can just give books. I don't know. They'd have to want to have them unless people ask for them. I'm assuming it's like a normal operates. It operates like a normal bookstore. Like I just can't give. I'm sure they'd have to want to have them and stock them. I'm not sure.
Emily, would you like me to put you in touch with Hereunder Books, and then maybe you can talk to them? And
sure. I mean, I could bring some when I'm there if they choose to have some. If they would like to have them, sure. Because I will be there.
You would the book would do very well through Hereunder Press.
Yeah,
simply because it is related to Baba.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah, absolutely. Of course, I'll be. I can bring some when I'm there.
Yeah, they're very close to the center, just across the road. In fact, very close to the center. So,
and when they do a book reading or a book signing, they usually have a little bit of refreshments, and they might have seats for 20 people or so. And people who are at the center come across, and it's really lovely. And they're very nice.
Okay, I'll
Sheila and Lori are
Yeah.
the two people who are running it,
Right.
and they help everybody.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm just encouraging you. That's all.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I plan to be there in June, July, because we are going to visit Kevin's parents. So I will be in. So maybe it would be a good time to drop them in there, and if they're interested.
Okay, and
Thank
so,
you. Yeah.
Dinku?
Hi, hi, Emily. I
Hello.
loved hearing your story. I'm Dinku.
Thank
I'm
you.
from Bombay.
Dinku is from Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Hello.
Hi. I did try when Goher put out the message. I did try to find your book on Amazon India, and it's not there. It's only available as an import, which I'm afraid is a bit way too expensive. So I was just wondering, when you come to India, can you not arrange something with the Meher Baba books shops at Mehrabad to have your books?
I think it'd be really good if other people spoke on my. I'm not sure. If people are interested in it, then I feel like I can say, look, people have asked for my book. I'm really not sure. I've not really. I mean, I guess I could bring some, of course, if they're willing to stock them, but they may not see it as a traditional Baba book. That's my feeling. But
Dinku, why don't you
I'm
ask
sorry?
them? I was thinking, why don't you ask them, be in touch with them and ask them if they would like to stock her books and see what they say. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because I'm sure
Sure.
they
yeah,
can.
if anyone has, I feel it's a bit better coming from. I mean, I can obviously, and I can send press releases and the books. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll try and get in touch and find out, and then I'll get back to you through Goher.
I'm happy to. Yes, of course, and go ahead. Feel free to pass on my email. No problem to anyone who requires it.
Thank you, because I'd love to get a
Thank
copy of
you.
your book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Me too.
Yes. Hi, Marcia.
Hi.
Did you want to say something to Emily?
Well, it's good to see you. I've had a lot of intuition things with Baba, and I just had a funny story. Sure, because it just happened. I went to my cousin's son's birthday is the same day as mine, and he came to Myrtle Beach last year when I was there, and I drove with my daughter this weekend, 6 hours to Cleveland, Ohio for a wedding, right? And we all stayed at a hotel, and people came from Mexico, all over, right? This great wedding. It was like they were like the storybook couple, on the top of a wedding cake, so happy with all the things going on in the world, right? So I get there, and the room that I'm in with my daughter, who lives in Milwaukee, was her birthday, which is a Baba funny, haha, right? And the groom that was getting married has my same birthday. And when I go to Myrtle Beach, the lake there is called Long Lake, and I lived on Long Avenue in Chicago. Let's see a few more. Anyway, we got on a bus, 3 charter buses to go to the temple, because it was in the suburbs and we were in downtown Cleveland. I'd never been to Cleveland before, right? It was just this weekend right now. And before I went, like, everything that could happen to me happened. A car door hit my neck. I rolled out of bed in a sleeping bag. What else? So I don't know. It's just a whole bunch of things. But anyway, we drive up to the temple in the bus, and we look, and there's a Maltz, which is my last name, Museum of Jewish Heritage. Like, wow, of all things in the world, that's my last name. And there's a Jewish Heritage Museum, right? Okay. And, I always believe that everything that happens is because Baba's placed us in the situation. Well, I never had COVID before, right? So I guess I come back on Tuesday. I have COVID for the first time. And I said, wow, you know, like everything happens for a reason, because when you go out in the world, it's better to have immunity. But it's just everything that happens is, so you're here with us because Baba meant you to be here. So we need to read your
Yes.
book. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
This
I
didn't
know.
happen just, you know, because everything
Yeah.
happens for that. Anyway,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, Martin. Yeah.
When I was really, really young, like I don't remember when, I had a dream, but it was so real that I was flying over the ocean and was holding on to Baba, but I didn't know it was Baba, and I could see the Taj Mahal off in the distance, you know, and I forgot about it, but I actually never forgot that dream because that was like a one of a kind dream. But I've had a couple things like that through my life. But I just noticed that I'm meeting all these people that have the same birthday as me now, and artists, and so I feel like this Zoom has opened up, is kind of a breaking of Baba's silence since the pandemic. So we're all here in virtual time together all over the world, and he's putting us together with people that we've been with probably forever, you know, and like reuniting souls. So
yes.
So I hope I get a hold of your book.
Yeah.
If it come a month earlier, I'll be in Myrtle Beach. Right now I'm in the Chicago area. You know, I live in between Illinois and Wisconsin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must be getting, I just realized it must be getting late. Somebody said they were fading. So
Paula Pam's hand is up.
I'm sorry.
Paula Pam's hand is up.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I was just about to ask her. Paula, do you have another question?
Oh, no, that was from before, I think.
Oh, okay. You forgot.
I didn't do it again. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, we won't keep Emily much longer. I know we've detained her for almost an hour and a half. Anybody else? And if not, then Emily, I don't know how to thank you. Thank you so much. I first thank Baba for bringing us together. I thank you for your insightful story, and you're such an inspiration. And I think you should keep writing and keep
thank you.
Opening up yourself.
Yes.
Don't think of anybody else. Just do it. Do it. You're meant to be doing this. You are meant to be doing this. So
thank you.
Thank you once again. I hope to meet you someday in person. That would be lovely.
I'm asking Baba that we will. So
I have a strong intuition we will. I don't know.
I do too. I do too. Yeah.
Anyway,
thank you. Yeah.
Baba bless. And yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to thank everyone, because I know it's late there for you all to listen and be away and listen to my story. And I thank you so much.
This is what we do every Sunday night. So
yeah. No, I know, but I
you.
appreciate you listening, because
Thank you, Emily. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So hopefully, and please feel free to join us if you would any Monday afternoon.
Yeah, now that I know about you. Yeah.
We have definitely some interesting sessions. We
definitely go ahead. Definitely.
Okay. Well, Jai Baba, thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everybody. I hope to see you sometime, somewhere in the world.
Thank you so much.
As I say to Baba,
really appreciate it. Thank you, Jai Baba.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Phil Hare.
Jai Baba.
Bye.
Thank you, Emily.
Baba ki Jai.
Thank you.
Jai Baba. Thank you all.
Jai Baba.
Thank you.
Thanks all of you for joining.
Thank you. Emily, if you're passing through Mumbai, please get in touch with me. I'd love to meet you.
Now, let's yes. How about we exchange emails, because I'll be there in February.
Sure. Yeah, great. Great. Oh, and
just
Angela's going to be in. That would be super. I can't come to Mehrabad, unfortunately, but as I said, if you're in Mumbai, would love to meet up.
We'll try and make that happen, because I'll be there for a few days, and then we're heading to Baba's birthday. Yeah.
Oh, great. I think Angela's going to be there as well in February.
Okay, Angela, I'm not sure.
Angela Chen is our organizer for this whole website, as well as all the
I hope I get to meet her.
Yeah, Angela Chen, I'm sure.
Yeah. She's the one who started Zoom and got us all together, during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, lovely.
Well,
Go ahead, please do send me her email.
I will, definitely will, Dinku. I will. Sure.
Thank you so much.
Jai
Thank you.
Baba.
Thank
Jai
you.
Baba.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Sleep
Bye.
well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye, Emily.
Bye.
Bye.
Jai Baba.
Go ahead,
Jai-
thank you.
Sure.
Jay Baba. Thank you,
Baba.
Go
Jai
ahead.
Baba.
Thank you,
Jai
Emily.
Baba.
So welcome. This is my last session, by the way, folks. I will not be here for 2 weeks from now. Going on a little vacation. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Okay. So
Thank
Jai
you
Baba.
for wonderful guests and for hosting.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
you're so welcome. So
You have
welcome.
great connections, go here.
You were the
Thank
perfect
you.
host. Have
Thank
a good vacation. Yeah.
Happy
Okay.
Diwali, BJ says. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Yes.
Happy Diwali.
Catch you, cut.
Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jay Baba.